Hello everyone, welcome back to the class. So in module 14, we will learn about the getting familiar with image-based lighting, that is IBL, and also we will learn how we can use the physical sun and sky in Maya application. The IBL and the physical sun and sky help you to generate the photorealistic scene. If you want to render any scene, exterior scene in daylight or in sunlight, you can easily go through the physical sun and sky option in Maya application. And in IBL, when you are working into the CG object, and if you require to generate some bounciness of the common environment that should be reflected onto the model, such kind of effect we can generate with the help of IBL or the image-based lighting. So now let's switch to the Maya application and have a look how you can work with the IBL and to the physical sun and sky.
Hello everyone. So in this session we will learn about the mental ray, physical sun and sky. So let's continue. As you can see, we have this model and we have just put it one plane. At first you have to define the camera. So what I will do, I will go to here, which is film gate, and just put it. So whatever come inside it, it will not render the same. It will only render this part. So you have to just zoom it. I am pressing Alt and right mouse button to zoom. And after that, just position your scene so that it will render that particular part. So I will put somehow like this, and what I will do, I will go to view, and here we have the bookmarks. So edit bookmark, and I will just define a particular bookmark. So I will just put view 1 and add to shelf and apply. After that, what we will do, if we change our view, then we should finally go to bookmark, and here we have that panel. So it will jump to that particular panel which we have bookmarked in that particular time. So now we have a basic model, and for a time I will just off this, and after that we'll just put some amount of surface shaders and we'll start doing mental ray, physical sun and sky. So at first what we will have to do, just go to render settings. Here you have the render using Maya software. We will change this to mental ray, but as you can see we are not finding the mental ray over here because there are different render engines. So what we will do, I will just off this, and after that we'll go to window, and here you have the setting and preferences. So in setting and preferences you have plugin manager. So if you click this, so a dialog box will open. It will show all the plugins which is situated in the Maya. If this is checked, that means it is being loaded, or if this is not, that means it will not loaded in Maya. So you can load it according to your need. So the auto load is that whenever you just close your Maya, after that when you open it, if you check the auto load, then it will finally come. And if you don't check this auto load, that means you have to just click one by one again and again if you are opening your Maya. Okay, so now if you go down, and here you find an option called Maya to MR.bundle. So this is basically mental ray, as you have to just load it and auto load it. Okay, so we have checked both of them. That means it will load into your viewport, and it will also have a particular panel, and whenever you close your Maya and reopen it, it will show. Okay, here we have just clicked both of them. Now what I will do, I will just simply close it. Okay, now if you go to render settings, here you found a particular preset named mental ray. So as you can see, there are only 2 tabs, and if I go to mental ray, then it will increase. So like this way you can just put your mental ray and just open through window and setting and preferences and plugin manager. Okay, so now what we will do, we'll just go to indirect lighting. So we'll see this settings later words. At first we have to just put the physical sun and sky, which is present inside indirect lighting. So in indirect lighting you have environment tab, and in environment tab you have 2 options, image based lighting, which we have discussed earlier, and this is the physical sun and sky. So if you go to create, now it created the physical sun and sky. So I will close it, and if you render the same data, what you will find, that you will find it is, as you can see, this small tiles like thing is due to the final gather which has been checked, and we will discuss this final gather later words. Now you can see it's casting your light. So if your physical sun and sky will be off, then it will not show this amount of light on your model. So what we will do, we'll just close it and we'll go to render settings. If you delete this, what happens, see, if I just rendered the same data, and you will find that the light is not present on your screen. That's why it is quite dull. So yeah, that means you have to just apply the physical sun and sky, and the scene is totally changed. Okay, one more thing, at first whenever you are doing your render for testing purpose, you should be rendered in a very low quality. As you can see here, you can have the size, and also you have the render time. So the size is around 960 and 540. What I will do, I will just go to render settings, which we have already opened it, and I will go to common tab. In common tab, if you go down here, you find the preset which is HD 540. So because we are using test render, so I will go to minimum, which is 320 and 240. Okay, just for examine purpose. If I'm satisfied with my result, then I will increase it to 4K, which is 4 times HD, or even I should go to 1920 1080p. Okay, so this which is around here 1920 1080p. But for testing purpose, I will go to the you can say the lowest resolution size. And one more thing is that by default the image format would be IF. So if you are working, you can work in IF, or you can also work in EXR. And for render purpose, only for checking your result, I will go to JPEG or even PNG. Okay, but final output will be rendered in EXR or even in TIFF or Targa. Okay, so now we are in JPG and compression quality is 0. If you increase this, definitely your time will increase, your render time will increase. So we'll not focus in this, we'll see later words. Go to indirect lighting, and there is the physical sun and sky. Just create, and when you create, in the right hand panel you have the attribute editor. In attribute editor there are 2 different tabs which have been created when you created the image, physical sun and sky. When you created, the 2 tab has opened. This is MIA physical sky 1, this is the sun direct, this is the coordinate points of the sun, and this is basically MIA physical sky. As you can see here, we have our physical sky and sun somehow over here. As you can see, it's very small. If I zoom, you can just click that part, and I will press F. Now you can see it's very small. Whenever you are making physical sun and sky, this directional light will form. So what you have to do, press R for scale. I will just scale this up. Okay. Now as you can see, whenever we have created the physical sun and sky, final gather will on automatically. So final gather is very important. It will just smoothen up your whole you can say your whole image and your whole render, and it will generate some soft glow and soft light into it. Okay, so accuracy, if you increase the accuracy, definitely your quality will be enhanced, and also the render time will increase. So now for this time I will just off this render setting, but we will do in further, you can say further experiment later words. So I will just off this. Now as you can see, we have just increased the size of the directional light which has been formed by applying physical sun and sky. So if I rendered this, I will go to view, and here we have the bookmark view 1. You can also use camera, but for camera we have separate tutorial, you can look at it. Okay, now I will just render the same data, and what we will found, as you can see, the image size has decreased because we are in very low quality image. So if I zoom this, as you can see, it's like morning light. Okay, so I'll just put over here somehow away. If you just rotate this light, and what you will find, if I rotate like here, and if I render it again, and what I will found, let's have a look. Now you can see that it's get little bit of dull. Okay, as you can see, it get little bit of dull, and also when you rotate much, then it will dull the whole scene. Okay, so what we have else, if you just put like this, what happens, let's see. But at first I will make a new version, so we'll save this file to we have already make a new version, and we'll make another version. So Great Britain scene 002 underscore 002. Okay, save. I just saved in my binary, continue, and if I have just rotate this particular direction of light, and if I render the same, what I will get, see, as you can see, it gets more darker and it's kind of afternoon light. If you rotate this, it will just rotate your temperature also. If this is slightly below, the arrows are slightly below, then what happens, the light would be much more brighter as compared to the this one. You have the sharp shadows, and also it is also called morning light. As you can move like this, I will just cut for a time. As you can move like this, your render will be more darker as compared to the previous one. So like this way you can adjust. As you can see, it's getting quite darker. As you can see that it's a late evening kind of light, and also as you look that sun is, I think, below here, so it's reflecting and it's casting the light over here also, as there is a little bit of bounciness. As you can see, the upper part is darker and the lower part is lighter, so gradient is forming over in the sky, and also we have some sort of bounciness of light, as you can see. Okay, so like this way you can add your mental ray, physical, sun and sky, and it's very important. So if you are working in one light, you should work 2 or 3 lights more. You can add 2 or 3 lights which we have discussed earlier. And also one more thing is that if I go to attribute editor, so you have mental ray, physical, sky, and you have one more thing which is mental ray, physical, sun. Okay, if you go to physical sun, you have the shadow sharpness which is just below. Okay, so if I select this, and you can go to attribute editor, and here you have the MIA physical sun 1. Okay, so inside it you have physical sun attributes. Okay, by default it is just taking the rotation axis of your, if you rotate, the value will definitely change because it's linked to it. And also you have one more thing which is shadow softness. So by default it is 1. So if you need a little bit of, you can say, soft shadow, so you have to just increase it. And what you have to do, if one more thing is that if your light is just like this, if I render the scene, what you are getting, let's see, as you can see, it's getting quite harder, and also the you can say the intensity is also high. But what happens if you just rotate this, and just put like somehow over like this. Just rotate it and put like somehow like this. What happens, let's see. The front part is getting darker and the back part is getting lighter, and also the shadow is generating here. Okay, so here we have the light which is very much, you can say, have high intensity. So what I will do, I will just Control Z or even Command Z if you are in Mac. So but you can just change like this, and so I will just move this little bit and we'll go to another view and just rotate like this. We'll rotate like this. We'll rotate here. We'll rotate somehow here. I think this would be fine. And let's have a look in this particular area. What we are getting, let's have a look. So as you can see, the part of the shadow, so I will just do one more thing. We just increase this a little bit. I think we should go for 640/480 and we'll have a test render. As you can see, your shadow is not so hard or not so soft because you don't have the creased point like here, or you don't have the gradient. So if you go to MIA Physical Sun 1, which is inside attribute editor, and it has sub panel like Physical Sun attributes. So here you have the shadow softness. So what we will do, we will just increase the shadow softness by 22, or you can also put some texture into the shadow softness. As you can click over here, the create render node will be formed, so you can call up your file or use any of the texture which is situated over here. Okay, now I will just off this and cut the same, and we have samples also, but at first we should check this part. What happens, let's see. Now as you can see, it's getting quite you can say merged, and also it has very much feather. So you can increase the part of shadow softness. If you increase more, it will spread more, so it will not increase more. And you have the samples. As you can see, the grains are forming over here. If I zoom this, as you can also know that we are in low quality, but if you still want to work in the grains, here you have the grains. So what you have to do, just go to shadow softness, and we have just increased it by 22. Okay, fine, but we will go to samples for targeting this particular grains. So samples we will increase somehow around, I think, 70. So you can increase it according to your need, and after that we'll render another data, and let's have a look. As you can see, the grains has left, but we have still little bit of grains because we are in low quality. That's why it's pixelating your image. So if you increase the samples around 70 to 100, then it would be fine. Otherwise it will take a huge amount of time also. So if you are increasing shadow softness, you have to increase the samples also, because you have to trigger that particular grains. Okay, as you can see, it's softening quite well, and also the grains which are forming there is also lost. So like this way you can increase. And one more thing, if you want to add extra lights with it, you can do it well by going to rendering, and you have the another lights. As you know, just click in the light and it form a new light, and you can just use it. And also make sure that whenever you're working in a file, you should at least apply some texture so that it will look quite well. And also one more thing is that whenever you are using the mental ray physical sun and sky, make sure that always your final gather will be on, and also we will on the global illumination. Okay, so you can increase the accuracy. If this is 100 by default, you can increase by 120 to 150, but if you have a good PC configuration, you can go beyond 150. Okay, so one more thing, accuracy in global illumination is entirely different as compared to the accuracy in final gather. Okay, so we are not using any caustics material here, so we will not include the caustics. What is caustics we will discuss in next session. And one more thing, okay, I just off this. Okay, in common tab you have few features like image format, we discussed this, and also compressing quality. Compressing quality will work basically when you are doing some renders into sequence, which is also called batch render. Okay, enable color management, we don't require color management because we are using our own thing and own light and all. So yeah, the size of the image is also very important, and its resolution. So by default, which is 72, okay, you can increase this to 300. That means you can zoom and it will not pixelate as compared to this 72 resolution. And yes, Maya is a vector software, but if you are using any model and you are working in a model and you are just having the final output, it can pixelate. If you are working in a model and the final output is JPG, PNG or any other format. Okay, so indirect lighting, this tab is very important. Quality, okay, filter is gauze, that means the light which will eject from this source will bounce, and filter size will be 3 and 3. Okay, fine. And quality is 0.25. okay, if you increase little bit and have a look, let's have a look at the quality. We'll go to view, bookmark and view 1. Okay, let's have a test render. I think now it will take some time because if you have a heavy scene, it will take some time as compared to the single and lighter scene. Okay, so scene is also depends on your graphic processor in unit. If you are working in heavy scene, that means you should have a good PC configuration. Okay, so as you can see, the light is bouncing quite well and also producing some shadow, as we can't see because we have just implemented and also we have changed the angle of the camera. It's not straight, it's tilted somehow, you can say, or also it is like 2-point perspective. Okay, so you can change your camera view accordingly if you are just experimenting, and if you need to set up some camera. You can also add more than one view in Bookmark, so let's see how we can do it.